Well, welcome. You've seen the beginning of the Emmys, and now we continue with special Emmys, namely Best Actor, and this award goes to several people. We have the envelope here, and of course this has been kept secret up until now, and the first winner of this particular award for Best Actor, President Trump. President Trump gave a speech to the United Nations, and he stressed one thing, which was actually divided into two parts: sovereignty and some other things that sort of gave the lie to what he was saying. But the first thing that he stressed was sovereignty. He said the United States will act as an independent, sovereign nation, but not disconnected from everybody else. This is a very good thing. And he also stressed that socialism will lead to disaster. He said that in one particular country, as a matter of fact, the manufacturing of a socialist state is what has led already to disaster in a particular Latin American country. Now, as an analyst of this particular speech has already pointed out, the president was acting presidential at the United Nations, but in saying that the United Nations has a lot of countries, each of which should act as a sovereign country, he failed to emphasize that the United Nations has two words in it, not just nations, but united. The speech overall wasn't bad, but it would have been a lot better, in the opinion of experts at least, that we have consulted, if he had stressed that the nations of the world cannot each act in their own sovereign interests first and last, but must act together, as in NATO and places like that. So we do congratulate the president on getting this award. A lot of people thought he couldn't act presidential. Today he did act somewhat presidential, but he failed to stress that perhaps the most important part of the title United Nations is united. Well, who else has won this award? Let's take a look. Let's look inside the envelope once again. This is an amazing thing. Hillary Clinton has won the award also for acting as a legitimate presidential candidate. You talk about a stretch. You talk about something that really demanded great acting ability. For Hillary Clinton to act as a serious presidential candidate, wow, quite amazing indeed. Her latest book, a real thriller, written, they say, people who know about these things say this, with her aides. She didn't write it alone, we're quite sure. That book proves that she has blamed everybody whom she could possibly blame for her loss, including probably each and every viewer watching this program. Millions, perhaps even billions of people, in other words, come under that light. Well, Hillary, this is for you. You acted like a presidential candidate who had, well, actually no idea what she was doing. The award is given to you because you tried very hard to act like a serious candidate. Unfortunately, you weren't. Everybody saw through it, and the award does go to you just the same for trying so hard. Now, who else has won this award? The people who say that Hurricane Irma proves global warming. A lot of people have been struck, and they should have been struck. By the way, this is for you. This is for you. The people who say that Hurricane Irma proves global warming. A lot of people have been saying we've had a couple of hurricanes now that are very, very bad, and in a short period of time, this proves that global warming is actually happening. Now, I'm not a global warming denier. None of my friends either is a global warming denier, but we do have to say that pointing to Hurricane Irma and getting excited about that as proof that it's scientifically true that global warming is happening is undermining the cause. The point is, again, some so-called self-appointed experts have been saying that Irma proves that global warming is happening. The whole point is you're acting as if you were true scientists, and you're not. How long have you been alive is the question for a lot of those people who say Irma proves global warming. You probably haven't been alive for every hurricane to happen on the planet for a long, long time. How many hurricanes, that's the question, has the planet seen like Irma? Was there global cooling at the time? Who knows? One remembers, people do remember, that in 1961, the New York Times had a huge article on global cooling. So you never know. Again, I'm not a denier that the weather patterns have changed and so forth and so on, but this has to go to the pseudoscientists who say that Hurricane Irma proves global warming. There are other ways to prove it. Let's stay away from phony things like that, things that might be phony at the very least. And now, we have one more award to give, and that one goes to, perhaps the most exciting award of them all, Equifax, one of the giant corporations in America who exist solely to know and protect your data. This goes to Equifax for pretending, for acting as if they were a responsible corporation, and we're going to try to find the executives at that corporation who sold stock in their own company to the tune probably of millions of dollars before letting the public know that the corporation had been hacked. Well, we're really grateful to you, Equifax. You did a great job, again, pretending to be a serious corporation, and this award goes to you. Again, though, we saw through the act. So this has been quite a day in the history of awards, and we should say, too, that as a bonus, there is, yes, indeed, there is one more winner of the Best Actor Award, and that is the Emmy show for acting as if it were a serious program that we ought to take seriously. Handing over political commentary to a bunch of comedians and a bunch of actors who probably have their comments written for them by their several writers is really a waste of time. The country has come to a very, very sad point in our estimation, at least, my estimation and the staff of the program, when we look to comedians and actors and actresses to tell us whether or not the president is doing well and what the country is going through. A long time ago, CBS, which has a huge entertainment section, bought the New York Yankees. The New York Yankees, up to that time, approximately at least, had been a powerful dynasty. And then about 2 people, maybe 3, started to show up to each New York Yankee game, and the team started to fail. It failed for a number of years. People failed to realize that entertainment taking over serious things like baseball and politics is undermining everybody's ability. Everybody in the country is having their ability undermined to take politics seriously and give it serious analysis. So we award this to the Emmy program for their attempt to come across as a serious program. Well, thank you very much, and until next year, thanks again for viewing.